Hey, what's up, everybody? How's it going? Jay Bird, Brian, Chris, Large, Jay Dandy, Matt Ford, Bradley. How's everyone doing? Uh, JMZ, how's it going? Yeah, so I'm gonna real quick just jump into like the clickbaity title of this stream and keep that brief so we could get back into just like normal bike shit, but stuff. But yeah, for those of you who are new, I know we have a lot of newer people, but this stream started like in like shutdown era of the pandemic, and so my original goal was to learn how to live stream, thinking that this might be a skill I need for my freelance business. The idea was based on watching Terry Berenson do it with his morning routine, thus the name of these being the evening routine. Um, but yeah, it was just you know during when things were shut down, easy to do 2 streams a week, and then lately I've always been like feeling guilty because I mostly only have time to do one. So I just kind of changed up the idea that Tuesday is going to be the plan, um, in 1 stream a week. Hopefully, I could do one on Thursday a lot of times, and that'll be a bonus. And it's just a mental thing for myself. So instead of feeling guilty about not streaming on Thursday, when I do stream on Thursday, I could just feel good about it. So also, of course, I make this plan, and then the University of Akron, one of my clients, just schedules a bunch of events for Tuesdays in April. So if I don't get home in time, then we'll move those to Thursday. And then I still like the idea of hopefully sneaking in some afternoon streams so other viewers from different regions who are different schedules can jump in. I always like doing that. It just hasn't happened this winter, basically because the weather has been good and I've been able to go ride my bike instead of tinkering with bikes. So, anyways, that being said, I kind of put out a poll on YouTube and then I chatted in the Discord and I've been talking to the channel members about if I only do 1 stream a week, I wouldn't mind doing some more effort. And so I was kind of throwing around some ideas of doing more of like the guest appearances or having a topic and trying to stick to it and all that kind of stuff. And it seems like almost among every level, the YouTube poll, the Discord conversation, the channel members, which have a weighted opinion. They literally pay me to do this. So they do understand that channel members get a weighted opinion, especially if they comment on something like that. Um, really seem to split 60-40, do something kind of planned, like, or just do these free flowing chats. So my intention was never to not pay attention to the chat. If you watch Pathless Pedals, like streams where it's mostly a podcast style, an interview with one person, and then pulls up a couple comments. Like, my whole goal is always to be engaged with the chat. This is kind of what these live streams were built on. I want to keep that going. There's only been a few times where we've done guests where we really stuck to a topic and didn't get as much into the chat. That's been a rarity. So I think the goal is going to be to try and have other people like join me or be working on a specific bike, but then still have it heavily involved in the chat, just a little more guided. The other thing is, and this is like a positive thing, like victim of my own success, like these have always been based on just like engaging with the conversation we're having, which has been cool. I've learned so much from doing that, where we just pull up what we're talking about. We pull up people's bike photos, you know what I mean? And all that kind of stuff. I don't want that like to go away at all. Like I really dig that. So, you know, like when Funny Brad comes on, we're just like kind of reacting to the chat. Or if I'm working on a bike, I'll still be talking to the chat. But I just can't like always keep up anymore, which is awesome. So I think, sometimes I've gotten so used, I'm in the mentality of responding to every single comment that comes on. Some are going to have to slip by here and there as we do more things. And even like a night like tonight where my only plan is to sit here and chat about bikes, pull up bike photos, nerd out about bikes, like the real common questions like kind of need to be answered by like, hey, you got to check out the YouTube video, or maybe we could point so the other people in the chat can point you in the right direction. I noticed that in bigger chats that are like free flowing on bigger channels, like Terry B's, for an example. Someone asks a commonly asked question. Usually the chat will take care of that themselves. So like Terry could ignore it and say, I think same thing with me. We'll just make more sense for the channel to make these more fun. And then it also gives them a little more staying power after, because believe it or not, like I focus completely on our live chat when we're doing it. These, for some reason, get a lot of views after the fact. A lot of other channels take them down. I leave them up because people watch them the next day. So I think it'll make them more entertaining as something that sticks on the channel too. But as you guys know, I'm not a number chaser. I mean, if I was, every video would be titled something bike packing or something gravel. I'm not saying I don't use like normal YouTube stuff, like, a little bit of clickbaity title here, but here and there. But yeah, so I still want everything to be fun. I'm not just trying to like pigeonhole it or change it in some different way. Again, slightly clickbaity title. That's how YouTube works. But that's just what's been on my mind. I welcome all the opinions of the people who are actually here in the chat about that stuff. But yeah, I just think like even if I have like a guest on who makes components and we chat about it, we'll still be reading the chat and responding to the chat. It's just, like I said, some of the questions that are fairly typical will go a little by the wayside. I've added new chat commands too. So, and my goal is to keep doing that. So, kind of the stuff that gets asked over and over again, we could use the chat commands and not have to break up the stream as much. And a lot of that's on me. I like to react to anybody who wants to chat with me. I'm so amazed by it. I'm still like blown away by this. Like this, to me, the success of this channel, which in the scheme of YouTube is still really small, but still way more than I ever expected when I just started this as an experiment to try and learn how to live stream. You know, the third live stream, I literally develop a roll film live. I didn't even have direction with this channel yet. It wasn't focused on bikes. That was just one of the things I liked. So it was one of the things I showed on YouTube. Anyways, I'm going to try and jump back in and say what up to everybody else who jumped in. And again, like I said, we'll see how it goes because it does get hard to keep up, which is a good thing. Anyways, so what's up, Dr. Bob Johnson? He said, happy Mardi Gras to everyone. I all of a sudden started seeing all the pastries get posted around here. And in Cleveland area and Akron area, we have what used to call Eastern European influence, like an own style pastry for Mardi Gras. But I'm not Catholic, and I don't go out and drink on Fat Tuesday, so it's never really been a holiday I like have my eye on. But I always like it when I've worked somewhere when someone brings in really good Mardi Gras treats. So, hey, what's up, Raymond? Speaking of channel members, I added your name, Raymond, and a couple others to the break where I say thanks to everybody. What's up, Patty Beard, Whiskey 6, how's it going? Bennett from Albany, New York. Got out to Albany, New York for the first time ever last fall on our way to Nutmeg. And we really liked it. I had no idea how hilly Albany was. It reminded me a little of here in Akron with the little punchy climbs everywhere to ride. Cardboard Film, what's up? Master of Disaster, how's it going? Dylan's in here. Got a ride with Dylan on Sunday and yesterday. We had a fun time cruising around Akron. If you haven't watched the video I put out today yet, check it out. It's really a greatest hits of like Akron cuts. And like I watched that video back and I'm like, no wonder people watch my videos and they're like, Akron looks really cool. Because just seeing all the cuts like put together into a 5-minute video, I'm like, wow, yeah, we did go to a lot of cool places. So Chris Alto, how's it going? Musgrave, what's up? Chris said, Tim always wears a beanie. I'm inspired to crochet a custom helmet beanie with ear covers. Yeah. So when I ride, I wear a 45 North wool cap that has ear covers because these don't fit under my helmet. But if I'm not riding, yeah, in the winter, always a beanie. And in the summer, always a cycling cap. I almost never go without one because my hair is so curly. And once I put a hat on, like, it looks so weird. Like, and I have no desire, as you could see, to do a bunch of grooming. Raymond says, seems like I need a producer. Yes, that would be nice. I was talking a little bit about to my buddy Dave, who's been helping me out, and he's like willing to help out on the live streams, but I'm like paying him good money to help me out with the studio and photography stuff. And man, that would be an expensive way to do live streams, but yeah. So, oh, mic is a bit soft tonight. I might be a bit far away from it. Let me boost it a little bit. There's something about these live streams where no matter what, I can't get the output to be quite loud enough. So it hits that distortion level. It's really annoying. That was Blake who said that. What's up? But yeah, it's actually kind of, you really have to, whatever you're listening on, crank it a little bit for some reason. And it doesn't matter what mic I use. It's something, I don't know, with OBS. Maybe I need to dive into the settings more. So, hey, Josh Hayden, how's it going? Josh said, you like that I leave him up with a small kid. You can't always make the live, so it's nice to watch them in the morning before work. So, yeah. Now, let me move the mic closer, too. Maybe it's just not close enough. Everything looks like it's bouncing on the right levels. Let me see. Yeah. Sorry about that. Balancing the balancing boat in life. What's up? Crisalto, Maps. Larry Mullins, what's up? Thanks, I appreciate it. Chris said, whatever the format, and Chris is pretty OG on here, you love the sense of community that's developed around the live streams, gives you something to look forward to every week. Awesome, I appreciate that. And that's same with me. Like, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to cut them out. I literally, and like I said in the other things, I think I said it on YouTube and I said it definitely in the Discord. It's not any kind of like creator burnout that you hear about or anything like that. I just literally don't have the time, like, to do it twice a week. My actual paying job has been busy, and then I also, if the weather's nice, I also want to ride my bike, just like everybody else. So, yeah, Colin, Samuel, what's up? Oh man, don't jump on me, Eddie. How's it going? You just don't get why everyone hates maps. uh, a lot of inside jokes have developed over the 3 years we've been doing this. So yeah, just kind of got to go along with it. Hey, how's it going, Josh? Sleepy Holler, no, we didn't stop in Utica. We didn't. Maybe that'll be our next year's stop on the way to Nutmeg. Hey, James. Jay Dandy, if I didn't say it. Chris wants the hat to come off. Bennett said the hill towns of Albany County. Yeah. Oh, did the sound jump up? Good. I was worried. Hey, William LeBron. Bradley said try a voice meter, Tim. Yeah, so I'm recording into a Tascam as my audio interface, which is, when I'm real loud right now, is showing me it's peaking. And then I could set the levels in OBS, which is my streaming software, and I'm in the yellow right now. So it's like the output is like I have everything just about maxed before it should start to go into distortion. I really am not trying to add any more complications to the stream, so hopefully I could just get everything here to work right, because it's already a lot going on, like as I've been saying, for one person. So, oh, Raymond, you got the stickers. Awesome. I also wanted to say, if any of the new channel members, newer channel members, or even if you're an older channel member, have never gotten swag, reach out to me again, because it's been really cool. The generalized stickers have been doing really well, and of course, when I get those orders, I don't mark them off until I send them out. But I hit up a couple of the new channel members, and now I have a hard time. I didn't make notes of who I sent stuff to. So give it this week, and if you don't get something, hit me up, and I'll send something out. So yeah. Oh yeah, Bradley. I'm not learning something new. I'm happy. I'm happy. And no offense. I'm just maybe down the road, but I'm already, like I said, already cutting out a stream. I'm not I'm pretty satisfied with what I got going on here. I know there are plugins and stuff that would be worth looking into if that's what it is. Hell yeah, JMZ, you said you were watching them the next day too. We had talked about going back to 8 o'clock because the previous two winters, or maybe just last winter, after the holidays, we went to 8 o'clock for the stream time. But again, with the weather being good, I've just been still out and about doing stuff at 8. So, Josh 8 said you watch old chats while working on bikes feels like shop banner. Cool. Cardboard Film says the same. Yeah, it's interesting to me. I love to hear that. Originally, I didn't think that was going to happen, and I was going to start taking them down or putting them down listed after the stream. But I get comments the next day of people chiming in with the topics we were talking about and dropping links on stuff that were like, hey, I don't know if you saw this or not. So, yeah, it's cool to hear. Oh, Remus, is this the first time you made it into the stream? That's awesome. Welcome. I know we've chatted in the comment section and elsewhere. So, hey, what's up, Chris McCollum? Charles Foster Kane, Sam Diaz. Sam Diaz, I'm not part of the single speed gang now. I ripped the derailleur off this bike over the weekend, which I could talk about. Larry asked what my favorite YouTube channels are. When it comes to cycling, Terry Berenson, Pathless Pedal, Dustin Klein. I actually watch a lot of Francis Cade, even though it's more rodeo oriented. I just kind of vibe with his personality, as the kids say. And I watch a lot of GCN Racing news. Like, I like the GCN Racing stuff. I'm not a big fan of their regular channel anymore, but I like racing stuff. So, professional racing. And I watch Josh Romero's in here. I watch his channel. Traveling Through. I do have a command. I need to make a command for Josh. I don't have one, but Traveling Through is actually a channel member, but he's making a series right now about riding the Great Divide. I think he's probably only got a couple episodes left, but yeah. Who else do I like in cycling? J Dandy super chatted. Is our super chat little guy not working? Stream Elements is in here. It was. Oh, there it is. Just delayed.
Dandy super chatted $1.99. Say it loud, say it proud. I like maps. Banana, 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 banana.
Yeah, see, everyone doesn't hate map. J Dandy loves maps. Thanks, J Dandy. Hey, Sean, how's it going out there in Massachusetts? Oh, Bradley, you're saying it is a different software. All right. Oh, you said you're the software engineer in you. Yeah, I learned OBS it seemed like it was kind of the standard when I was doing my research 3 years ago, but and it's free, which was, when I was starting this, I think there was but I think when I did the first streams, there might not even been 200 subscribers, so free was important at the time too. But oh, Chris said, "Don't talk about our fancy weather. We're getting 48 straight hours of snow in Minneapolis." Yeah, like I said, if you watch the earlier video, it wasn't warm by any means, but for February, the last 2 days of riding, we got into the 50s, so it was nice. So Sleepy Howard said, "I love Ryan Van Duzer." Yeah. The Tuna Boat Chronicles, Patty Redbeer. I don't have a problem with Van Duzer. It's like a couple of us have said before. It's just like personality wise, I just really don't enjoy the channel. But it's just a personality thing, and I've talked about it. We've talked about it even with friends in person. There's just some people you enjoy watching and listening to, and some you don't. I know there's plenty of people who click on this channel and they're like, that guy's voice grates on my nerve, just the way it is, Oh, bravo! You got the stickers. Awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing some people start to post, people who are on Instagram, some of the generalized stickers. So, yeah. Oh, Bradley, you're an audio engineer. That's why you're so, yeah. I'm definitely, when I'm making a produced video, very conscious of the audio. I try to be. It's there are once in a while where I get rushed, but to me, I always know, like, a YouTube video, people will watch average video, they won't listen to really bad audio. So yeah, Tube Socks, we just haven't got. I don't want a ton of snow, but I did want a couple snow rides. As mentioned before, the band Common Birds had, they have a good snow song. I'm ready to use it, and man, they're just we haven't had the right just haven't had any kind of good snow rides out here. Oh, Sean, you said you had 50s past weekend, 52 miles on the Lynxie GR 300. Snow this week, yay, New England. Yeah. So we're supposed to have 70, I believe, on Thursday, but then it drops back down with a chance of snow for Friday. So we're in that time of year here where it's crazy. But I also feel like New England, in normal weather conditions, ends up getting what we had to some extent. But Squilly, what's up? Salt Lake City, hurry up spring. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not over here. I haven't been in like a hurry. I mean, I always want it to be spring and summer and fall, but our winter's been so mild and like now being, even 40s feel fine to me. So, rump bumper stickers needed. What's up, Dimitri? Uh, Oh, Josh, you asked if I've ever watched Henry Wildberry. That gets suggested to me all the time, and his stuff pops up in my feed, and I know I need to check it out, and I really haven't. And there's no reason. Just need to remind myself that. Another Sean from Massachusetts. Nice. Yeah, it's just uh, uh, Sean saying, think New England and Ohio get the really odd extremes. Yeah, I think it's the weird global warming weather patterns. I mean, it definitely stayed more consistently cold when I was a kid, and then it's become more of a roller coaster lately. So, Charles Foster Kane, you said audio engineer when it bounced. I think maybe when I bounced to 4 track. My band's recorded music bouncing on 4 tracks. Yeah, record three, bounce them down to one, record three more, bounce them down. Yeah, did that all the time. So yeah. I'm well familiar. I was never the one doing like the recording stuff, but I was, aware of what we were up to. We've recorded the real bouncing down tracks and all that stuff. So, sure. Oh, Cardboard's down in Nashville, and you said 82 on Thursday. Yeah, definitely have to get out. And tomorrow is the night I ride every week, and tomorrow's the most iffy day of the week. There's a high chance of rain. That's supposed to be chilly, but it's going to be one of those where it's like the prediction is like a chance of showers or a chance of thunder showers in the evening. So it'll be like a decision right at game time whether I go out and ride or not. So yeah, I should just like go and like subscribe to Henry Wildberry right now. So because I'll if we talk about it in this chat and if I just see it, I know I'm an oddball on YouTube, but I mostly watch from my subscription feed. Like uh, like most people don't watch like that. So yeah, I'll definitely check it out. A little hint of maps there for the map appreciating crowd. Hey, what's up, Jason Gates? You said last time you're on my live, we were talking about a Brooks B17. Yeah, we're talking about saddles a lot this weekend. We were riding again too. I actually just picked up a new one for my gunner build. So, but I guess that's the fourth B17 I have. Sean said, if you guys haven't watched Eric, is that Marth? His builds are like building ASMR. Yeah. I don't watch a lot of stuff like that. Like I'm very like uh, either like ride videos or information oriented. So like I've watched a couple videos where people are like doing really cool like bike builds that are shot really cinematic and stuff like that. I could watch a little of them, but like I only watch enough TV that my time is limited. So it's like when I'm eating lunch, or it might be when I'm finally unwinding in the evening, or it's something that's on in the background that doesn't need to be visual. So yeah, I also watch a lot of like when you say favorite YouTubers, I watch a lot of photography stuff and I watch history stuff. So like the photography and how to like videography stuff too, as well as video editing, updates on Premiere Pro, just real nerdy career like stuff that's oriented towards my career. But spend a lot of time with that too. So Sean said your subscription first too. Yeah, it's interesting. There's once in a while where I've like kind of watched what I want to see from my subscription feed, and then I like might just click the home page, and you know see what the algorithm feeds me, and I do find good stuff that way. But almost everything I watch has been something like you guys or especially Large Marge has recommended to me. That's I think Large Marge told me to check out Terry B, told me to check out Dustin Klein. So it used to, well, it's Dustin Klein too. Some people used to compare my editing style to his, and I'm like, I don't know who that is. And I watched it. I'm like, oh, now I see why they say that. But Scully said Spindat. I've watched a couple of his videos. Yeah. Jay Dandy said Wildberry is Jan Hein influenced. Well, then I might like him. There's all this Jan Hein hate lately. I think it's funny. It cracks me up. But I was talking to Dylan about that when we were riding. I'm like, people like are upset about like the boutique stuff he's doing, and then like when the people who seem upset about it also have like really other like exclusive high end parts, and it's just kind of a weird. It's a weird thing I don't really understand. So, hey Nega, how's it going? Nega Chen, is that something I shouldn't say out loud? Is that a joke? Nega Chen. Okay, just making sure it sounded funny coming out of my mouth. I'm sorry if that's your regular name. Um, Yeah, Patty said he loves the B17, but saddle choice is just so personal. That's what we were talking about. Ed, me, and Dylan riding, and we've talked about it on this channel extensively. Is that I really won't recommend a saddle to anyone. Like, I love the B17, but I can't tell you you will because I have friends who hate them. So. Yeah, I don't know what you mean, Tube Socks, that the all leather all B17s are leather, by the way. But I don't know what you mean by they look sketchy. I'm looking at one right here that has probably probably getting close to 10,000 miles on it under me, and I bought it used. So they're not sketchy. But I don't know what you mean. So Charles said since all the supply chain issues, Brooks has really scaled down their production. Huh, that's interesting to hear because that's one of the things that I never saw in shortage. Our bike shop always had them. I always saw them on the big sites like Amazon. And then we were even riding a Century during the peak of supply chain pandemic stuff going on, and we stopped at a place in Cleveland. I think it was Beat Cycles, and he had an entire wall of every like different color Brooks B17, but no bikes on the floor because supply chain. So I'm surprised to hear that. Bouncing Bouncing Bike said lots of dead trees and weird weather too, creating lots of limbs on the trail. We've had massive wind too. Today was horrible. I went out just to take some photographs. Uh, I filmed some video, but I don't know if it is actually going to make it into anything and talked about it. But whenever we have this spring like weather in the winter, it's always windy around here with it. So if we get warm temps in February, they're never completely enjoyable because it's always like crazy windy. So yeah, we've had tons of stuff down. Certain trails are very well maintained. The Metro Park trails around here, they're going to clear them pretty quick. But yeah, you do have to watch out, especially riding at night. Hey, what's up, mountain biker boy? Yeah, when is daylight savings time? I was thinking about that. It's a big deal too because my buddy Dave, who was just here tonight helping me, we were up patching the roof on top of the studio, which is it's wild to get up there. I took a photo. I'll share it in the Discord later. But we have to crawl through like a kind of an atrium in one of the apartments, up a ladder, and then kind of crawl through this small crawl space. But so we're trying to do a lot of stuff on the building as much as we can, and some of it's outside, but we only have he gets here around 5, so like an hour and a half right now. So I'm excited for daylight savings time for riding and for my Tuesday night maintenance with my buddy Dave. So I've watched some old Shovel too. I haven't watched Cowboy Tommy at all. So Eddie said feel free to share some of the photography channels too. I'm trying to, man, so many of them have names like I would have to look because so many of them are just like obscure names about like editing in Premiere Pro and stuff. The more entertaining ones are the famous guys, more like Peter McKinnon and stuff like that. If you're not aware of him, I don't know, I think he's like a 10 million subscribed channel. But I take it and leave it with his videos. Some I love, some I don't do me any good. DP Review is my favorite camera review channel. I do watch a couple of the film photography channels, not that much. Hazy Grains, maybe, but Raymond said Paul Shusheki. Is he the one who became an oyster farmer now that we've talked about? Yeah, Eddie. Brooks is owned by Cell, but I believe they're all still made in England in the same factory that they have been. So yeah, they were bought out. Brooks is not an independent company. So because I don't know if you guys saw, Grant Peterson actually had a post on the Rivendell account about getting them to bring back a certain saddle that's a leather tension saddle, but not the B17, and it was a whole. I'm not going to try and recite it, but yeah, he did mention the Cell ownership in the post. So, oh, Chris, you said you had crazy wind in Toronto today as well. Yeah, Dylan, if you're still in here, the wind today was like twice as bad as it was on Sunday, if you could believe it. It was like I was riding downtown real slow because I was kind of scoping out where I was going to take the photos I needed to take for work. And the headwind came down Main Street, Akron so strong that it actually took me to a standstill. Like, again, I wasn't crushing it, but it was crazy. And I actually went a way longer way home to avoid the bridges because I was like, man, this is way too sketchy on the bridges. So daylight saving time is on March 12th. Thanks, Eddie. Oh, that's great. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Ba? John, what's up? John said Brooks probably bounced back faster from supply chain issues because they're made domestically. Yeah, I have no idea where they source from though. I mean, you know, they still need steel rails and everything like anyone else. So I'm sure, but who knows? Those are small. Maybe they were stocked up. I have no idea. Mosaic said, "Cold riding sucks, but it keeps you in shape for the warm weather." Yeah, I'm hit or miss. Like, I did that video with Otis where I talked about I didn't ride in the cold at all when I first met him, and now I do all the time. I find that if it stays consistent, I can get used to about anything. Not like the Minneapolis guys or Toronto or anything like that, but I can get used to like the mid and upper 20s if it stays consistently cold. And usually in a normal winter, which this one is not at all, the 30s become no big deal to me. But that's again like talking about saddles. It's so personal to everybody what you're comfortable and where your comfort level is, and it depends on where you live beyond just being personal to you. But yeah, I James said try living in the South, which is well, Patty's in here tonight, and some friends who live in Arizona, like they said, like the winter is their summer because it's just too hot in the summer out in the desert. But yeah. Astroblast, what's up? You said you like traveling through, lots of bike packing and touring videos. Yeah, traveling through is just like so chill. I like watching his solo adventures. It amazes me someone who could do that much solo. I'm not like that. Like I'm fine being a loner, and I've traveled alone a lot in my life. But I also like when it comes to vacation, I took a lot of solo vacations in my 20s when a lot of my friends were getting married and having kids and they weren't available anymore. But it's nice to have a crew to go on riding vacations with. So I'm always impressed by someone who could just go out and stealth camp solo the entire Great Divide. I don't think that would be for me. I haven't even done a bike packing overnighter alone. And I'm not saying I never would, uh, but I never have. Uh, and I think preference wise, I'd rather ride with friends. The benefit of doing stuff alone is you get to move at your own pace, but I'm also when I'm on vacation, my pace doesn't need to be that high, so I'd rather go a little slower and be with friends than do whatever I wanted. I think I should try it so I have a better opinion on it, though. Dylan, you said you didn't even bother riding today with the wind. I shouldn't have. I needed to get these photos, and I hate taking my car for like short trips if I don't have to. And same thing with the photos; they were coffee bags that I needed to stand up. So I had to find spots where I could set them down where they wouldn't blow over. I ended up finding a really really cool spot, so I was happy with it, happy with the photos I got, and it probably made me search more. But yeah, it was sketchy. It was not like fun. Like my ride part, like I didn't enjoy it. I'm glad I got 10 miles in, but you know, it was not. It wasn't fun. Hey, what's up, D'Amico? How's it going? Mountain biker boy, you were saying you love the C17, but you find that your hips slide forward on it. Yeah, we were talking about that saddle over the weekend too, and that's another one that is so like divided among opinion. Like I absolutely do not like it. I borrowed uh actually the gunner when it was still Otis's with it, and I don't like it at all. I talked to a couple other people who don't like it, but then I have friends who love it. So yeah, again, one of those just like the B17. The opinion is split, and it's there's no right or wrong. Like it's really like it's just got to work for the way your body is. Charles, you said that Sheldon Brown has a nice article on sit bones and explains why a leather saddle is superior to a cushy saddle. I would replace that with why cushy saddles are bad. I don't know many people who ride like truly cushy saddles, but it doesn't need to be a leather tension saddle to be not cushy, right? Yeah, I don't know, Astro, because I know, chatted with traveling through a number of times, and Rick, who used to be someone who watched this channel a lot, has ridden with him, and he said he thinks that traveling through truly digs the social stuff, the solo stuff. So I do think you could tell from his videos he likes running into people, but I think he really sets out to do those alone. I don't think he's doing his solo journeys because he can't find anyone to do them with. I really do believe he does it because that's what he prefers. I could be wrong. He could jump in this chat tonight and tell us too. So he often does. Mountain Biker Boy, you said hoping to hit Mohican Loudonville on Thursday if anyone has a day. I I'd like to get back down there. I won't have time on Thursday. I've got to just picked up a photo shoot, but I do want to ride that at my own pace. Like I'll be in that area for Black Fork, but I've never just gone down there to chill. And a couple of my friends were down there riding in that area last weekend and just talking about how amazing it was. So, Chris, you said you were going to ride but went on a long walk instead. Walking is so underrated. It's so funny. I like hiking was always my thing because I could have my camera and take photos, and I I do take short walks around the neighborhood, but I hike and walk like so much less because of cycling. It's so funny. Oh, John, about the B-17s, you said uh, they had everything stocked because it was all made there. Oh, nice. With Brooks, yeah. Dr. Bob Johnson says, as the African proverb tells us, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Yeah, I really like that for sure. Raymond said, any suggestions for a woman's saddle? Um, my girlfriend rides the B-17s with the cutout, but again, I don't. I just I'm loath to suggest saddles to people. It's way better to I think also to ask bike shop owners and people or bike fitters, people who have do it way more because their odds of hitting right on what will work for maybe a little bit of a majority or a plurality of people would be better. And I guess even though I do ride with a number of women, I actually have the saddle conversation less because I guess the reason you'd have it less is because it makes less sense to have it, right? Because I would definitely never, I wouldn't be like, no, you should try B-17 to some, mansplain saddles to some woman. There's no way, you know. Astro Blast said C-17 needs to be level. B-17 slipped up slightly. Yeah, obsolescence though. Oh, I mean, you tend to tip your saddles down, which is I think unusual. And and again, same thing. It doesn't mean you're wrong. If it works for you, it works for you. But yeah, I tip all my B-17s are tipped up slightly. I could put one on a bike these days and almost always get the angle right, but I will ride it a couple times and maybe slightly adjust it. But on the C-17, I don't have an opinion on what the angle of that should be because I just I didn't like them no matter how I angled it. But you know, but again, just a total personal thing. Hey, what's up, Ron? Stuff. The wind in Virginia was insane. So it must have been the whole eastern part of the country must have just been blasted by that wind today for something. It's probably a front moving all the way across that's bringing that warm weather on Thursday. But D'Amico, you said you're going. Oh yeah, we've been chatting on the Discord a little bit, going down the bike hole, looking to get back into single track. Simple. I think you're right, D'Amico, about a hardtail, especially for because I know you're here in Ohio, um, in Northeast Ohio. So I think the hardtail is the way to go. Biggest want for you is strong brakes. Like I said, if you're going mechanical and you don't mind spending some money, it would be the clampers or those Grotex that I've been riding. Hydros, I, I can't recommend hydros because I don't ride them. I don't mean because I don't think they're good. I think they're the best. I just don't ride them well. I don't have any, so I can't recommend any. I've ridden SRAM's top of the line ones on one of Otis's bikes, or two of Otis's bikes, and they were amazing. But I don't even know SRAM's order. I guess would that be Red or Apex? I don't know. I'm not a SRAM guy, and I've never ridden Shimano hydros. But Matt Ford said, "Let's bring gel saddles back. They might be the next ATB accessory." My rally here had when the last iteration Otis had a thin but gel saddle. I think it might have been a fabric. I can't remember. It was blue and white, and I think I rode it a couple times. And I rode. I think the fabric that Dylan runs on his tumbleweed, I had on this bike for a long time, and I liked it fine. But once I got over long, if I went on long or hard rides, I didn't like it as much. So it was fine for like a 20-mile, 25-mile ride. But I noticed when I started doing a couple longer things, then it became uncomfortable to me. And that's about the time that I realized I just like the B17 on everything. So, and that's one of the things for me. I'm not saying nothing else would work, but it works so well. I find no reason to go any other way. Um, Scully said you use a cushy saddle during CX season after a few bad remounts. A CX race is probably short enough too, where perfect saddle comfort isn't as important, right? Or like where that cushy saddle could be bad for your sit bones and your form if you were doing 100-mile a century ride, right? Whereas CX it probably isn't going to affect you as much, I would guess. Eddie said +1 for putting the C17 level and B17 up. That's what I was saying. Obsolescence is a aberration with a tilted down B17. But again, whatever works, and it's your bike setup too. It depends on how your overall bike is set up. I don't know if you guys have ever seen those Rivendell pictures where they have the super high swept-back bars and they have the B17s like this. I'm not like that. I mean, mine is like the slight nose up. And as they age, I find that sometimes I might tilt the nose up a little more if I can't get the tension to come back as much as I want it to. But Chris said solo bike packing was one of the best experiences of your life. A special level of quiet and serenity sets in. Yeah, I definitely see that. I mean, like, I go on a lot of solo bike rides, you know what I mean? So I could definitely, and there's times when I stop and I just want to sit somewhere and chill. I just don't know about bike packing. I don't know if I want to, I don't know about, I feel like if I'm going to spend my evening alone, I want to be here working, but that might just be some freelancer, you know, capitalist mentality that I have. And he said C19 carved is so wide and soft. It's your cheap go-to. Are C19s cheap? Aren't they still expensive though? Charles said Terry Bicycle used to sell nice, cheap women-specific saddles. I watched Pathless Pedal's interview with the founder of Terry Bicycles, which was really interesting. But and Obsolescence said women should start with short-nosed hollow saddles. Yeah, I have no opinion. Steve had a +1 on the Terry Butterfly. Yeah, and that's it's nice, man. If you have a good shop, it's a lot easier to try saddles if they have demo saddles, but a lot of places don't. So I don't. It's one of those things where it's like frustrating when someone asks you that questions or even asks you general bike questions and they want to get into it. It's like, man, you just don't know what's going to end up like being their thing. So it could be really hard to give advice, you know. Yeah, like D'Amico, you're asked like more specific questions as you're heading in a specific direction. But Eddie said Bertune saddles. Friend Ben has one and Otis has one, and I haven't ridden them enough to have an opinion. I would like to try one at some point. The only other leather saddle I've ridden besides the Brooks is a French Ideale I have, which is from the 70s, and its shape is pretty much B17. It's a little nicer quality, to be honest, and the saddle loops are actually in the leather with like metal around it, which is kind of cool. But yeah, so I don't have enough opinion on the Bertown. I think the Bertude. Uh, but they are way thicker leather. They look like if they're not comfortable right away, they're going to take way longer to break into than a B17. But I'm also someone who likes B17s new. Like, I feel like they get more comfortable when you break them in, but they've never bothered me in any state of broken inness. John said you've tried a couple of Brooks saddles and they're way too hard for you, and that's the other thing. Some people love their B17s only when they are broken in, and they say it takes about 600 miles. Yeah, There's cheats. There's all kinds of, if you go on the web and Google breaking in your B17, there's all kinds of ways to do it faster. Uh, Not for me, because like I said, I like them new, and I feel like if you break them in by riding them, then they just become like heavenly. But yeah, I could imagine there's people out there who are like, it's not comfortable now. I'm not going to ride 600 miles to find out if it's going to become comfortable. So yeah, mountain biker boy, I would say try it. I mean, you're going to know if you like it or not pretty quick. So if you tip the saddle. Oh, you guys, I missed the switch into the Canty conversation. And Patty's MB2, which is a beautiful bike, said you rode it in a race this weekend. Call you crazy, but your candies did fine. Yeah, I set up right, they do great. Like I'm running those old Baffic racers, which were made for a cyclocross bike on my Marin mountain bike, and they're just okay. But yeah, cantilevers can be set up to be awesome, and so can regular rim brakes. Like I said, I think the one of the best set of brakes I have are the 9-speed era Durace brakes on my like road bike, an old metal bike, that's an old steel bike that I've has a 9-speed Durace group set. Those brakes, man, I, those rim brakes would I put up against anything. So yeah, I don't. I always think it's crazy how young people think like rim brakes or cantilever brakes are like death traps. It's like, people have ridden these for 100 years before disc brakes came out, and you know, it's not like there's some crazy technology. There's actually an interview with Chris Froome on YouTube today where he still said he prefers the rim brake over the disc brake. For what it's worth, this is a guy who descends mountains at top speed, so he's not afraid of modern rim brakes either. So Sam said put a coaster brake on the gutter. No way. Freewheel all day long. Chris said you love solo activities mainly because you don't have friends, but your dogs like you. Well, if you got dogs too, it's not fully solo. When I was in the studio during shutdown all the time, I still had just one of my cats, and that was definitely my best friend. So, hey, what's up, Jacob? You said you rode a lady friend's bike this past weekend, and the saddle was definitely shorter than what you're used to. Yeah, I think Erin had a couple regular saddles, my girlfriend, that were shorter nosed, and then she got into the B17s with the carved, and that's what she's mostly been running now. So, WTB Volt saddles. What's up, Kim? She says SQ Lab active saddles, only saddle you own. Slightly rock side to side, keep your lower back hip from getting stiff. Huh. Large Marge says, "Who wants to place a bet on how many hours Brooks saddles have been discussed on the live streams?" He's going through and time. Sober or drunk, I think, is irrelevant, but time wise, if I had to place a bet, and there's no way you could go through in time without time it because that would take you forever. What are we on? Like, is this stream 170 or something? I can't remember. I put the number in today to make this stream. What are we on? Oh, 169. Uh, I would say there's been 15 hours of Brooks discussions. I'm not the one who brings it up, even though I am a huge fan. I think once you bring it up, I keep talking about them because I love them. But saddles, I think, are just one of those things people like to talk about because everyone's trying to find the perfect thing. So, but yeah. Reliable Waste, what's up? You said, does Brooks make a banana seat? Jay Dandy said, cow love. I remember it took me a while to realize too that some people are not going to use on this stream. That makes total sense because they don't use animal products. So I think Brooks' push for like this, or their reason for the C's is more the weather thing, but also it does make it so they make a saddle um, that isn't using animal products. I also talked about, and I don't know, I have a Jeton Tour de France, and it has a rubber tension saddle. So I don't think it would ever break in the way a leather saddle does, but it definitely right away gives you the feeling of what a Brooks saddle is. And so me and Ed were kind of talking about like, I'm surprised that someone doesn't try to make like a synthetic like tension saddle because the C saddles do not have that same. I don't care what anyone says. I've ridden one. Like if they work for you, that's fine, but they don't have that same kind of give that a tension saddle does. You think there would be a way, or there is a way. I have one, but you think someone would be doing something more with like tension saddles with synthetic materials that would be really comfortable, and then you wouldn't have to worry about the weather. But I don't know. I'm just a guy who talks about B-17s a lot. See if I could possibly get through get caught up on the chat without skipping too much. Chris, you said C-17 nose up to keep your weight off your hands. Yeah, I definitely am someone who does not like. I had early on, I had way too much pressure on my wrists, and now I figured out the saddle, bar height, seat height combination to keep that pressure off my hands. And Steve said, "Cool Stop Salmon makes a lot of great brake pads." Yeah, that's what I run on my rim brake bikes too. Oh, D'Amico, you said you're about 265, so thinking that no suspension and big brakes because you've got a lot of gravity. Yeah, definitely. I mean, mountain biking period, you want big brakes, the more momentum, big brakes. But when it comes to the front suspension thing, I just don't really feel like we need it around here. I mean, I don't know if you plan to travel and do more single track, but Hampton Hills, East Rim, Bedford, I like literally I ride on a rigid gravel bike, so yeah, I just don't think you need any kind of full suspension bike. Personally, just depends on what you plan, where you plan to ride all the time, I guess. Muskrat said you're running Proofide into your Brooks now. I definitely need to hit up my tan one on the Marin. Get a little more Proofide on there. I think I Proofide more often than most people, but again, that's a big debate about leather saddles as well. Chris said he loves rim brakes. Unfortunately, the industry is squeezing out machined rims to choose from. For sure. I guess we were talking, this is another thing talking about Ryan this weekend is just buying up used stuff, like buying up all the stuff you can. I know Pathless Pedals talked about this before too. I'm a guy who likes front derailleurs, and now I feel like I need to go and buy like all the 9-speed and 11-speed 105 derailleurs I could find. But yeah. James Enlow, what's up? What's up, channel member James? He said, as a Gertie fella, I need the stopping power of hydro brakes. I'm not going to deny that. I'm just saying there are rim brakes that will stop a lot of momentum. They just got to be good ones. Shitty rim brakes are sketchy for sure. And, you know, single pivot side pulls, I have them on my Trek 500, and I've ridden that bike loaded down. And yeah, going down a big hill, they were going to slow me. They weren't going to stop me. That's for sure. So, and like I said, well set up cannies are going to have a ton of stopping power if they're set up right. But yeah, I mean, modulation too is a big factor. When you want to be able to feather your brakes really well, I mean, hydros are going to be really good at that. Like I said, my Grotex and Pauls are really good at that. So, hey, what's up, Yenzer? How's it going? Tube Socks, what's up? You said WTB saddles are designed for racers' asses. Yeah, I don't know. They have a number of models, though. I mean, like everyone, there's some with a little more cushion in there. Chris said the amount of braking on a rim brake to bust the wheel is pretty high, for sure. And then Obsolescence said Brooks saddles are greater than maps. J Dandy Obsolescence feud. Ron Stuff, you said cool bike shops like the one I featured yesterday need a crap load of different loaner saddles around. Yeah. And when shops are around for longer, they build up that inventory. Hey, what's up? Aster Ific said, you love your 3D printed specialized saddle. Not very cool, but your butt would disagree. Well, Well, you're here. I have to say, thank you so much for the swag. So, Aster owns Furnace Record Pressing and sent me a T-shirt. Just a really great care package. Well, I just flicked the pins on the ground, so I'll have to grab them later. But some stickers, some pins, and then as we were chatting about vinyl on his record label, some of the records on his record label. So got some Bad Brains represses and yeah, Samuel, bunch of stuff. I'm going the wrong way with the. But yeah, a bunch of cool stuff from his record label. So thanks so much. This is such a cool gift. Yeah, I came home and was so happy to find those. I've been so busy. Worked all day Friday, went to the Mountain Goat Show on Friday night, did a chain waxing party and video on Saturday, rode with Dylan and Ed on Sunday and Monday. So no complaints, like awesome weekend, but I unfortunately haven't got a chance to get into as much as I want, but really, really cool. So I really, really appreciate it. So anyways, back to saddles. Kim said yes, thought you were on last week's Brook discussion at first. JMZ, yes, I do need a Brooks command. Jacob said one of your biggest problems with the Brooks is the B17 is animal products. Yeah, totally understand that. Where was Dylan's last comment? I'm way behind, huh? Dylan said he thinks ChatGPT could generate transcripts and analyze the B17 dialogue time. Sam Diaz milking the clock. And that's the other thing D'Amico says there. Saddle talk is good because we could buy saddles, not 10K dream bikes. We do a lot of handlebar discussion on here too. Not quite as much, but TubeSock says bike prices out of control. You're right in a way, but I just don't care about those bikes that are overpriced. Like, I don't think like All Cities and Surleys and Crusts and stuff like that are unaffordable if you're trying to buy a new bike. The other thing about bikes is there's so many used bikes out there that are so good. There's so many steel frames that are so affordable and you could build up so awesome. And it doesn't have to be the 90s bike conversion. Like, there's tons of options. There's tons of options of nice bikes like All Cities and Surleys that people want the latest color. And so, I don't know. I get it, but like when I see like Cannondale just came out with their newest high-end thing that's probably going to be $15,000, it's like I pay attention because I like everything bikes and I'm going to watch the World Tour teams race on those bikes. But I don't care. It's just it's jewelry. It's over the top. If you're not winning the Tour de France, you don't need it. Hey, what's up, Chuckles? How you doing? Been a while. You asked, you're jumping in for a few minutes, bought a sticker and red shirt. Will the blue industrial gravel shirt be back in stock in extra large? I don't know. Those are made by my friend, so I'd have to have him print some more. I could get you one, Chuckles, if you're interested, though, because Dirty River has them, and he'd be happy to sell me one back to send your way. So just reach out. I know we're connected on Instagram. I won't remember tonight. Like, there's no chance. But if you really want one, reach out to me on Instagram, and I'll grab it and send it over to you for sure. Yinzer House, you said you meant to ask last time. I have an 80 Schwinn. Yeah, I have an 80 Schwinn. Mine is a Columbus SLX tubing Schwinn. Um, Yours is a World Sport. A 1 pound difference. There'll be a different feel and ride quality, but for a pound difference, is it worth chasing? I don't know. If you could sell your old one and the price difference isn't that much, you know, I bought a high end one for $300, but I have a like one of the chromo ones I bought that Aaron has now. I paid like $40 for it from a scrapper. So I guess it just depends on the price difference for sure. Hey, what's up, Diversity Love? Been a little while. Oh man, I scrolled down and I missed everything. John said you could still get velocity rims machined for rim brakes. Nice. Just reading the chat and catching up. Jacob, you said plans for the channel. The main thing is that I was just saying that Tuesday night is going to be the plan for the streams, and Thursdays will be. They've always been hit or miss, but I'm not going to say I'm planning on them. And then my goal on top of that is just to have more guests and more content as well instead of just me just chatting. So get some other opinions up here, get people with their bikes, and then we could all like kind of have a little bit of a focus on certain nights is kind of the plan. So Sam Diaz said how the handlebar conversation, which I've been trying to catch up with. Um, how wide of a handlebar is too wide? That's a hotly debated topic as well, because uh, I've heard some bike fitters still promote that your bars should be your shoulders, and you know when I went to the wider bars on my gravel bike, I loved them because the thing is now I could ride them on the tops like flats. When I need the leverage, I could go way down those widespread drops. But I don't know. That's an interesting. It's an interesting one because some people are uh, super opinionated on it, where I'm not because I have all different bar sizes on my bikes, and I've gone wider, especially than my old vintage bikes, which were so narrow. But what's up, Rollin? Chocolate covered croissants are so good. I don't know if that was related to anything else, but you're 100% correct. Uh, Steve said most 70s road bikes with 27-inch wheels can be converted to 700C. Yeah, I've done that. I think I have 4 bikes I'm looking at right now with that done. But it totally depends on the bike what you'll get in there. So, like my Trek 500 only got out to 32s, but my Peugeot and Roger Riviera got 38s out of it. So, Muskrat, you were saying one of your Brooks saddles with a color the finish is thinning out quick. it's actually wearing through the finish, or is it just changing colors? Because my tan one changes colors, and that as I ride it, and then it also looks different after I reproofide it. But it's not actually wearing anything out. It's just it changes like lighter color leather can. So, but if it's actually wearing through the finish, then I think you have a warranty issue on your hands. So. Charles said, if you split lanes and the city go narrow, yeah, I have friends who've moved from bigger cities and like they widen their bars when they're not in the city anymore because that's just a practical thing. Jacob said you have super broad shoulders and 44 to 46 is still your favorite width on drops, but you hate 42s a lot. No, there was a couple e-bike questions. It's safe. I have always been totally pro e-bikes. I just haven't needed. I don't have the use for one yet. But I know at some point in my life I will own an e-bike. I'm able to get around on my own power, like at the pace I want with the stuff I want to carry right now. And whenever that becomes an issue, I will have an e-bike for sure. If I can't go as far as I want to go, or I can't carry what I want to carry, but so Patty said, going by the shoulder width standard, he'd be at 420s, but he loves the 520s. Yeah, I am cool going. What are the? How wide are those? How wide are the Carver bars I'm running? Because I think those are like, man, I feel like those are in the 52 range, and I love them. And you could tell that I'm not a very wide. You know, I would think my shoulder width is probably middle of the road. So. Roland said, might need an e-bike if you keep eating all these croissants. If I had a place that made really good croissants nearby, I'd be in trouble. Uh, yeah, a lot of good croissant places in Cleveland. When me and Aaron were in France, we were in heaven. We stopped in so many bakeries when we were just walking around and getting croissants all the time. But Yinzer House said about the cow chippers, like the flare. Same thing, like because you just have so many options. So in the hoods, if you're like here, but then if you're in the gnarly stuff to lower your center of gravity and have that wider. I don't know why I set the camera so off tonight. I'm way on the edge of the frame, but whatever. Yeah, I think that the flared bar, the dirt drop, whatever, is a great invention. I don't like the way they look, but I like the way they function. I'm on Ronnie Romance's page with that one. They're so functional, but I hate the slanted levers. It's only aesthetic, and it's not going to stop me from doing it. But oh, Muskrat, you said yours are getting to the raw leather. Man, if you bought that from a shop or wherever you bought it online, I would ask about it. I don't think it should do that. James said e-bikes are fine. You just can't say how hard the ride is unless you're over 65. But like what is the like the lightweight specialized with the motor that like Dustin Klein rides on like low power? I mean, I don't know. You could get a workout on anything. Like that's where I think the question was cheap e-bikes. Cheap e-bikes, you're probably end up getting a really good workout on. I don't think cheap e-bikes are worth it. Or conversion kits. They send them out. They've offered to send them to my channel. When I find someone who seems reputable, I'll take one so we could ride it and like make a video and really talk about it. But I think you get your money's worth out of a better, just think a better motor, a better battery. It's just like anything in life. We're talking about electronics. The more expensive it is, the better it's going to be for the most part. And I don't think you're going to find anything on what is you know, I don't know. Those wheel conversion kits, no way. If you're going to get an e-bike, I think it's worth going and getting a decent one. I mean, you don't have to go with the $10,000 Le Mans or whatever, but I think you need to spend a couple $1,000s if you're trying to get an e-bike. But Jacob, you said you just ordered a Niner uh, RLT, but next bike is probably going to be an e-bike. Yeah, you live. Yeah, you're in the real hills now. Oh, Bradley, you're struggling which drop bars to get for your build. Yeah. Morgantown's hills put Pittsburgh to shame. Perfect training if you want a sufferfest. Uh, yeah, but man, where me and Aaron rode outside of Pittsburgh, or when I rode Johnstown's Hope Cyclery's ride last year, higher ground, I was but I guess I haven't ridden the hills in West Virginia. That's for sure. I've driven them, and they, yeah, definitely look massive. So, Sam said croissants or donuts. Man, they're two different tools for two different jobs. You know what I mean? A truly good croissant. I don't know. I don't know if it's hard to say though. Like, just a true junk food donut is so good. Just a sugary frosted donut. I don't know. How about a cronut? Doesn't this thing have a way to make polls? Doing that like a feature they added a little while ago. Let's see. Oh, start a poll. Yeah. Did it go? Oh, there we go. Kim said little flare, yes. Huge flare, no. Jay Dandy said a baguette place. There's supposed to be a good place in Hudson. Huh. I haven't gone to a good bakery in Hudson. I'm not saying there isn't one. I just haven't gone to it. But oh, Brimfield Bread Oven, Jay Dandy. Don't they have baguettes? Brimfield Bread Oven is the best wood-fired bakery. Like they do baguettes. I'm almost 100% sure. That's where you got to go. We're actually thinking about a bike ride out there. We stopped on. Actually, me and Aaron stopped on our way back from Pittsburgh this time at Brimfield for lunch. But yeah, that's where you got to go. Diversity Love. I know you said you like chocolate. You also said posted a great video of riding in the cold. You learned a lot. Oh, good. Oh, D'Amico, Crest Bakery, man. Crest Bakery was old school. Like, so it's not like a French bakery or anything. It was just good. A bakery that just made good sweet stuff. And that's right. Oh, yeah, you lived right over by me before, too. Like, right where my studio is. That was when I first moved here. That was my spot. Horrible coffee, but just man, and the biggest selection of baked stuff, like just so many different things. It was so hard to stand in front of that bakery case and decide what you wanted to get at Crest. That's sad, and it was a beautiful old building too. It's still there, but it's yeah. Kim said cake donuts only. I do like cake donuts as well. It doesn't have to be a fried donut. I love like the old like glazed cake donuts too. Yeah, Chris said chocolate frosted old fashioned. That's a cake donut right there. Apple fritter. Yeah, I save them for the fall. Yeah, but I love them. Crest had the best apple fritters. They used to make special ones when I worked at Soleil's. It was so hard in the fall not to eat like 10 of them. At the farm I worked at, we Crest made special apple fritters for us to sell. I don't know how many they ever got out on the floor. They sold out within like a couple hours. Dr. Bob Johnson, you said other people's bikes are expensive. When you say 700, I probably beat you on that average, you know. So, yeah, I've got money into bikes over time. Like my Raleigh has money into it over time. But yeah, I don't own any expensive bikes. So, and I only traded work for the frame here. So Shady Lot said, "You remember cycling from Cleveland to Akron one day, and the second you got to Edgewater, you realized you had zero food, so you bought 2 croissants at the nearby coffee shop." Nice. Yeah, Jay Dendy, definitely check out Brimfield. Not too far from, well, straight down 43. Wouldn't be a great ride, but yeah, they'd have to come up with a better route for it, but totally worth it. So. Ron stuff. Oh man, that comment is so gross. Worked in a bike shop next to a donut shop. The sewer grate in your parking lot was runoff of sugar water from the donut place. Pop the manhole cover and full of fat rats, so you'll take a croissant. Oh, Eddie, you said you can't get apple fritters anymore. Yinzer House, you said you asked if I'm still drinking the coconut water. I was actually slowly sipping a beer tonight. I am still drinking the coconut water most nights, but yeah, the non-alcoholic beer. I know there's been some suggestions. Like I'd rather just drink something else if I'm not going to drink beer, but personal thing. Good bagel, JMZ. I love a good bagel as well. I think if it depends though. If we're talking sweet stuff, bagels to me are different. I mean, you could have savory croissants as well. So another great croissant place is right next to me, Blue Door Cafe, and they're French style, and they make them way bigger than like a typical French croissant. They're gigantic, and they make them sweet or savory. They make savory ones with like cheese or ham in them that are just amazing. So what's up, NJ Cranes? You said you just bought your first new bike, a Poseidon X, and you're really enjoying it. Nice. Stomach Thunder asked if Kiss, Chris King headset are worth the price over a King Creek 40. Um, I I'm the wrong person to ask about headsets. I don't have a problem with quill stems. I just like I think headsets are the most overrated part of a bicycle. So my answer would be no, but there's going to be a lot of opinions in here on that. So get in on that one. Get in on why you guys love expensive headsets because I never noticed my headset. D'Amico said the problem with this discussion is it's 10:20 local time and there are no donuts or croissants to be had for sure. Yeah, I'll probably end up having to walk over to Dunkin' tomorrow morning after this croissant or this conversation because I'll wake up with like a donut craving. Venture Maxes are the ones that have the rise in them right after the clamp. Talking about bars again. So Eddie said +1 for headsets being pointless. Yeah. Ed's head is the true test. Yeah. For sure. When you have a headset that auto centers because it's pitted. Yeah. I think so. Here's the thing I'm not anti buying stuff that is machined locally or machined domestically and not in a, whatever factory. I think like buying parts that are nice because you believe in the company and stuff like that is fine. If you're asking performance wise, is the difference worthwhile? I don't think so. But is buying nice stuff that is made by a company you care about worth it? Then yes. Two different questions. So I should definitely clarify that because I do like to support friends and companies I like and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess every bike I've always ever bought has already had a headset on it, and I'm fine with whatever's on there. If I was building a frame up from scratch, would I look at King or like some of the other companies that are like that I would like to support more? Possibly. I feel like spending the money on a King bottom bracket is way more worthwhile because you're going to get longevity out of it compared to the throwaway bottom brackets that everyone makes now. But yeah, let's end the poll. Let's see. How do I get up there? Where's our final results? Oh, there we go. Donuts 57% to croissants 42. Chris said Chris King is great for hubs and bottom brackets. Yeah. And if you want your stuff to match, I mean people care about that way more than me, like really. And I have some builds I care about it on, but like getting the right anodized look for everything else that's right, I totally get it. Like hey, what's up, Party Size? Party Size says Chris King valve caps are worth the 150 price tag. Dr. Bob said something that's I think is true. Headsets that are important with mountain bikes, especially downhill stuff, downhill enduro, uh, and I think that's what Chris King like really isn't that what they started with, like trying to re-engineer the headset to the modern standard because of that kind of stuff. Which again is just something I don't do that much, so that's true or can be totally true, and I would be the least knowledgeable about because that's not what I ride. So. D'Amico asked about advice for used bikes besides Craigslist and Facebook. Everyone jump in if you have any things on that. I look at Craigslist a lot. I don't. I shouldn't. eBay. Again, you have to buy online. You don't get to see it that much. I have done it though, and I've had good luck. But Bike List is one Dylan was talking about over the weekend, and I think Pathless Pedal did an interview with the guy who started it, but I missed that episode. But so Bike List is a place to check out. Pros Closet, right? I know that Dustin Klein is always, and they have experts go through the bikes. I don't know how much money you save on Pros Closet, but hey, Ron, just you said donuts are winning the poll. Croissants rock. You're pissed. Just that's more croissants for you. That's what you got to remember. Ed said, "Feel free to laugh. Headsets are pointless, but you got a Cane Creek 10 with a plastic crown race. Gonna pony up for a real and go 40." Yeah, I could see that. I'm sure there's a level of modern headset that's trash. I'm just saying, like, I take apart the headset on my vintage bike, re-grease it, and I just don't notice. But again, those are my vintage bikes are road bikes. Real vintage bikes are road bikes, so it probably doesn't matter as much. But I don't know. I was riding my Marin through the gnarly stuff with its mid 90s Richie, and I had no problem. And Otis told me the headset was roached when I got the bike, and I've now got over 1,000 miles on it, and I can't tell. Oh, obsolescence. There's a good one that I forgot. Local co-op, great option. Dimitri said Pros Closet, but it's expensive. Ah, Pudgy, you jumped in. How late is it there? Pudgy is over in Ireland right now, so. Oh, it's 3:30 in the morning over there in Ireland. Yeah, wow. Pudgy just dropped in, but I am going to take a leak, pop up the new members video, and then yeah, wrap it up. Cause what time is it? Yeah, 10:30. Yeah, let's take a quick break. I'll be right back. Glad you were able to jump in, Pudgy. I hope you enjoy the rest of your trip as well. Yeah, back in a second. We are going to take a moment to thank our channel members. The channel member support is what makes doing all these streams possible, and there are no ads on these streams as they appear live because of the support of the channel members. If you want to support the channel, consider becoming a member or check out our little swag shop below, t-shirts, bandanas, stickers, and all that stuff. Or at the least, just hit that like button for us. All right, we will be back in one moment. Thanks as always for watching.
Gone 2TX subscribed to the channel.
All right. See you later, Dylan. We can talk about P-17s again and C-17s next week. What'd I miss? A little bit of Pudgy talk. I felt like there was something I read that I was about to talk about, and now I totally lost it. Dr. Bob said you bought a 2000 Schwinn Rocket 88 MTB with a MSRP of $2,200 from a bike shop for $100. Customer brought it in and found out it was too much to repair. Wow, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's deals to be had. The better too you are at looking like my Marin, like the fact that the guy didn't list a size or a model name or anything else like that, and I gambled on it. It was a really good deal, but I wouldn't recommend if, I judged by how long the head tube looked that I thought it might be a bike that would fit me. So yeah, bike shops too, though. Like I don't know about everyone's local bike shop, but a lot of bike shops do take trade-ins, and then you could get a good deal from a bike shop and then have them build up a used frame right there. Just depends on the shop, though. So I guess in the conversation about used bikes, bike shops are worth bringing up as well. So incredible. Yinzer House says tuna boat sounds like a new name for a crust surly bike. We were looking at that uh frame builder in South America, which I was considering getting a bike from because the prices are ridiculously cheap. Before the Gunner came into my life, and we were saying if I got that to get custom decals and call it the tuna boat would definitely have been the way to go. So that's just a song I found on a royalty free site and used it for the members video, and have continued to use it ever since, and used to be religious about playing that right at 10 o'clock. Now I just always forget to check the clock. But that was I think actually too when I was drinking a lot more during the streams, I would have to go to the bathroom and have to grab another beer at 10. So yeah, it just became one of the things. Should we start a GoFundMe to get the guy from that band a tuna boat? I don't think we will ever find that band. That's the one song they have on the royalty free site, and I don't think I've ever been able to find that band's name or anything else about them. I'm drawing a blank on the band's name, but it's listed in the description to all the live streams if you want to go download that song or see what the band's name is. But oh, Mountain Biker Boy, you said you have 26 millimeter inner rims width. Here's a question: can you support a 48 millimeter tire? Yeah, I hope there's some good answers in the comments because this is not my expertise at all. This is the kind of stuff I ask my bike shop. That's why when I was building up the Gunner, I really like my Velocity Aerons, and they were like, "No, you're going to get 55s. You need a wider rim." So I got the blunt 35s. But yeah, so I'm not that. I always ask people who really know that stuff. D'Amico said you would definitely use my generalized decals if you got a no-name frame. Yeah, a couple people have said that they have frames with no stickers on them, so it's perfect. But a couple other people have emailed me saying they've actually peeled off the specialized decals and put on the generalized on their build, so that's pretty sweet too. But NJ Crane's awesome. Yeah, I hope you pop back in. So, like I said, goals every Tuesday, but if I can't pull off the Tuesday, it'll be the Thursday, and if I can't do either, my goal will be to do the Friday afternoon. But definitely want to plan on Tuesdays at 9 every week, as long as I'm not working. So Chris Alto says 26 millimeter will be great. You ran 23 millimeter with 45s. So Reliable Way says Tim is the captain of your tuna boat. Yeah. A racer who I guess Racer isn't in here this week, but uh, I think it was Racer, right, who was saying that they like to use thin, like, internals with wider tires because of the round shape of the tire. That goes against, like, some of the conventional stuff I've read that, you're running into trouble with that. But, again, someone who rides tons of bikes, builds all kinds of different bikes, says that works. When it comes to my vintage stuff, I've never really considered it. But now that I'm getting into wider tired bikes, something that I've been asking about. But, you know, I have an old mountain bike that runs two old mountain bikes, vintage mountain bikes that run, 2-inch tires with the wheels that they came with or that I got that are of the era. And then I have a bike with 42s. So, building up my bike with 55s, my next build is the first in modern rims and disc brakes is the first time I've ever even really had to think about it. So yeah, I have like I said, most of my really big knowledge gaps in bikes, like in like the technical side of them, is modern, really modern stuff, or really modern stuff. The last 20 years, because I've always been a vintage bike guy. So tuna salad, tuna steaks, tuna sandwich. Muskrat said you've seen some good bikes on Shop Goodwill, but you would have to travel to pick it up. I've never checked their site out, but also I know there's been some questions about recommendations on like specific bars and other things. That's another great place that's another thing the Discord is so good for, because people ask that stuff in the Discord a lot, and then people are able to drop links and prices and give opinions if they used them or not. So, and the conversation obviously is can be over days instead of just over a hour and a half stream. So if you're not in the Discord, it's a good place to check. Nice thing about our Discord too is it's a little bit of a limited audience, so it doesn't go as wild as some of the other ones where you're going to just get bombarded by uh, crowdsourcing is good with the volume of people, but I think it's also can be overwhelming when it's too many. So uh, Discord is I always describe it, drop a link, as a glorified chat, glorified message board. So we basically just have, you access it there. Like anything online, it takes a email address and a password. I have it set up so you don't get notifications unless someone actually mentions your name. But yeah, so it's just, yeah, we have the different topics down here, and then it's just different threads. And so whenever I pull up bike pics on the stream, that's where I'm grabbing them from. So, for example, here's a large Marge and me coming down the hill at the Rubber Bowl on Sunday. Or wait, this was yesterday. But yeah, it's great for that too. I use it during the live stream. Oh, here's Dylan and Ed as well, and Large on the this old truck that was stuck. Well, it's in this water that someone clearly lit on fire, but got Ed's crust. Oh, see, you got the low basket going there. I've wondered about like using the low baskets instead of the walled 137, but I guess you have a cargo netted over too. This is a great build. Haven't gotten into bike picks today yet. Should have earlier. Oh yeah. Speaking of obsolescence and Brooks saddle angles, that's what I was mentioning earlier. This bike is his Miata cross build. He changed out the levers and the tires. So yeah, that crust is a beautiful build. get in there on that. Ed said, "Love the low basket with the net. You can do anything. Use it for everything. Local bike shop thought you were crazy when you left with the new fork the other day. Traveled home fine." Yinderhouse, you said you like the bike shop interview. Yeah, that's whenever I say Otis, that's who I'm talking about. But his real name is Ryan, and the shop is Dirty River Bicycle Works. I haven't been to Thick Bikes in Pittsburgh. I'll have to stop in next time we are back out that way. So, oh yeah, obsolescence tilt. That's what I was. Oh, I don't have it up on screen. Sorry, guys. Like that's what I was saying about saddles. Like they're personal to me. That would crush my wrists. Like the way I ride a bike, that would absolutely. I couldn't do it. I'd fall off. But I know he's had a number of bikes that he rides like that, and I guess it works for him. I also love how small though when it comes to the gearing, how he how it's got like two almost like vintage road gears, but then drops down to this super easy gear, which is kind of sweet. What is its rear derailleur? Can't tell. It's all dirtied up there. This is one that I think he did the a 27 to 700 conversion and was able to get these bigger Rene Ayres tires in there. There's Blackball out rolling with a nice Grav sticker on the bike as well. And this is Large Marge posting us having lunch at the Rubber Bowl. Dylan, Ed, and me. I think I'm posting an Instagram story, of course. Yeah. Oh, there you are, Obsolescence. Yeah. Was that Obsolescence? What's your Miata like? Did you say it was a cross? Was it more of a cross bike, or is that just the name of the model? No. What is this? Oh yeah, Dylan has no hands. Obsolescent, she said the model name is the Sports Cross. Okay. Yeah. What's Ed's bike in that clip? Oh, the one I are you asking about this guy this one? This is a specialized hard rock. He bought this though with all the paint already stripped off it. So it took him a while to identify exactly what it is, but he has another hard rock and he was able to basically match it up and realize that's what the bike is. So yeah, it's his hard rock build, 26-inch, tires, wheels. Leatherbrook saddle for those who want to get back into that game. Diversity Love. No, I don't have Cash App. I'm a Venmo, PayPal guy. But I believe the website for the swag takes whatever. I don't think it matters. I think it could process whatever payments if that's what you're. Yeah, it's a really cool build. Actually, his front derailleur wasn't working because it was a mountain bike derailleur made for a triple, and he has switched the bike to a double. So on Sunday night, I was actually working when Ed and Dylan crashed here, and I had a Suntour front derailleur, an AR, and he was able to swap it out, and the bike shifted a lot better then. So. Yeah, I was so glad I had something that worked for him. I have so much stuff sitting around here. So oh, and Rusty, a longtime channel viewer member, is out in Germany now. So, oh, he got a salsa out there. Nice. Yeah, that's another thing I was thinking with talking about the stream and kind of changing it up. I feel like also maybe it's an hour of guests talking about what they talk about. Then the second hour, we go back into the bike picks and then just like do more questions. I don't know. It always depends on how long someone wants to be on. Maybe they're on for an hour, they leave, and then we just like nerd out on bike picks, or we do an hour of a topic with a guest and then like get into the picks. But yeah, that's always a fun thing to do, and I don't want to give that up either. That was like one of the favorite things. My favorite things when I edit this stream is getting people to send in their bike photos and we get to talk about them. So. Yinzer House, yeah. Specialized mountain bikes are the uh, same with stump jumpers. They're the hot bike of the moment right now. Ronnie Romance and his crew and all those guys. There's been a big thing about turning down 90. It's been going on for a while. I mean, it's been going on forever, but it's been popular for a while. So turning vintage mountain bikes into gravel bikes is huge, but the Specialized just seem to be the ones that have been the trendiest to do it with, and they are great bikes. You know, I have an M2 and an aluminum one that I picked up for free. It's too small for me, so I'll pass it on to someone else. And then got that stump jumper team, and I'm gonna build that up and probably upgrade it over time. But I think it's one of the things with everybody doing that and like all the knowledge out there about upgrading the vintage mountain bikes is to, save money by not going with the Specialized, which is what I did with my Marin. My Team Marin is it's supposed to be the same steel. It's lighter than the stump jumper team I have, and they are like would have been comparable bikes at the time. So I would look at some of the other brands if like anyone's like looking to do that kind of thing. You know. Eddie says kills you that people don't love front derailleurs. I'm all about the front derailleur. I run everything 2x. I have a single speed towny bike that I build up out of an old Miata as well. But yeah, I'm all about 2x. Hey, what's up, Ronald? Yeah. I think everyone's in a good mood and pretty chill tonight. Unfortunately, I'm about to wrap it up, but yeah, it's getting late. Eddie said ratios are so good. Yeah, I mean, that's what Dylan was actually talking about what I have on the Raleigh here. So I am able to run, and I ride this for the record. I understand that a lot of people don't need the top end gear, but I do ride it kind of as my endurance road bike too. So I have a 5011 and a 3442. You know what I mean? Like that range is insane, like so I don't know. I'm a 2x guy, and On this bike, I want 2 by road. I love having the 5011. I use it, but I also use that 442 as well. I did until I picked up a stick this weekend and ripped my 105 derailleur in half. So this bike is down. That's why it's sitting on the stand right now. I actually had a single speed at home. That's why if you look down there, it's just that's the gear it was in. But it's trying to shift already. It didn't want to stay in that gear either. So. Jacob said you have so much damn money in your 91 rock hopper. I think people do that a lot too. Like I've kind of got that way with my Marin. I'm like, oh, this frame didn't cost me much, and then now I've got a Thompson seat post on it, and whatever. But Specialized still has a life. Yeah, that the lifetime warranty on the frames won't do you any good if you're not the original owner, though. So if you break some old Specialized that you got somewhere, it's not, the warranty isn't going to do you any good. Mitchell, you said neat. You turned your 98 Stumpy M2 into a single speed with a Surly Troll fork. Nice. Yeah, I wish this M2 I had was like close to my size and I would do something with it, but it's not. So I might still build it up and then, sell it at cost to somebody. Or I know Erin said, my girlfriend said she was interested in it. I don't know how she wants it to be built, but be a fun thing to do on the stream. Jacob said Cyclopath. Oh yeah, I follow him. Had this hunch Giant was made by Specialized or vice versa, and he found a slip backing this up from one of his bikes. Giant is the bigger brand, so or Giant is Giant. Yeah, they own. Giant makes so many, and this is, I know we're not talking about carbon, but when it comes to carbon bikes, a lot of brands carbon bikes come out of the Giant factory. So. Eddie said you have an old Trek that is perfect for an around town cruiser. Yeah, and I turned my 2001 Trek into my winter bike. So. Patty said a friend has a Stumpy and it's now an absolute beauty of an all-road bike. Yeah, they're just great platforms. 90s mountain bikes are great platforms to do whatever you want with. There are some expenses in certain conversions and weird. You do have to deal with a couple standards, but it's, I don't know. Sometimes people end up putting more money into the 90s mountain bikes than you could have just bought an All City, for. But yeah, depends on what you're going to do. Someone asked me on Instagram the other day, how much does it cost to convert a 90s mountain bike to a gravel bike? And I was like, there's no answer to that. I was like, the analogy I gave him, I'm like, you can buy an $80 guitar and you could buy a $15,000 guitar. And it's the same thing with converting an old bike. If you have parts around and you have stuff that can fit it, and if you want to go drop bars with bar ends, you could save money and you could do it affordably. You could also put drop bars on and then put, index shifting, expensive stuff. So it just really depends. But yeah, Eddie. So I used a Road Link from Wolftooth so I could have my long cage 105 reach a 42 in the rear. So yeah, I have 5011 and 3442 on this bike right here. So like I said, until I picked up that stick on Sunday and ripped the derailleur in half. But I found a long cage 105 on eBay for $40. So hopefully that'll be here this weekend. And unfortunately, this bike hasn't integrated. It's just out of frame, but the derailleur hanger is integrated, and that got bent pretty bad. So it'll go into the shop to see if they could realign it as well. It'll be a real bummer. It only looks like it bent in, so I think they should be able to do it. But yeah, this is my baby now, so I want to keep it going. No, I'm not going SRAM. SRAM nothing. There's nothing wrong with SRAM. I just don't touch the stuff. Try to keep straight and narrow on the Shimano train. Yeah, I'm so bummed with the Raleigh. I feel like I got the Raleigh to its perfect state, and then I broke the derailleur, and I have a problem with the bars, which I'm going to talk about later. I don't want to bring it up until I brought it up, but there's some problems all of a sudden. And Party Size says your hopper has $1,300 wheels on it. Yeah. Diversity Love asked, "Do people ever hire me to rebuild a retro bike, and would I ever?" Not specifically. I've built up vintage bikes and then sold them later, but I don't have the time to do stuff like that with my day job. So the answer is probably no. I wouldn't do like a custom build for people unless this eBay channel, unless this YouTube channel supported my entire living. That's not something I would do. My camera died. Give me a second. Let me see if it fixed itself. Yeah. So yeah, when I have old frames and old parts, sometimes I build them up, and then if someone asks me if they need something, I sell it. But yeah, I don't have that time. I just don't have the time. Unfortunately, I would love to do that. There's not enough money in it, especially right now with the way the market is decent. When the bike park shortage was going on, that would have been the time to be in that kind of business. But yeah. Hey, what's up, Those Tacos? You said your wife doesn't allow you to have more bikes. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, do you have kids? You know how, I mean, divorces aren't that, not that big of a deal if you don't have kids, right? No, my girlfriend thinks it's ridiculous whenever I pick up another bike, but then she also went to Pittsburgh with me to grab 4 more mountain bikes. So, but we don't live together, and I have this huge basement down here, and I could hang them all from the rafters, and it's only my problem. Yeah. Mitchell said, "Yeah, your M2 is light and stiff and feels awesome to whip around single speed." Yeah, and that's the other thing too. With an M2, you have tire clearance too to give you some compliance with the wider tires if you want them. So, oh yeah, everyone meant you're right, Muskrat. Everyone who's bringing up the bikes they're building up, and I know some of the people have, but post your bikes in the Discord, and then next Tuesday we could, and possibly on Thursday if I stream on Thursday. Unlikely, but I might. We could show all these. So, Jacob asked me, "What is the size of the M2?" It's small. Like I haven't. I could just tell, but I'm guessing. I'd be surprised if it's even a 54. So, then again, old mountain bikes always look small, but it's a small one. Uh, I'm going to find out on the drops obsolescence hopefully tomorrow. So I just took them off. They're not on here anymore, so I get to take them to the shop to see what they say. So no updates. Otis just said, emailed me today to bring them in. So. Mountain Biker Boy said, "How much money is too much money?" If you have it, none. I mean, like, I've talked about this on the stream before, but it was 2 years ago at Nutmeg. Me and Funny Brad we were at like Nutmeg was stopped. Like you could stop at this like hard cider place, which was a New England hard cider spot that was amazing. But there was this woman with her specialized stump jumper that had like every beautiful part on it. It was a beautiful bike. It was Chris King. It was White Industries. It was Paul components. It was, just everything. And then she says, "People keep complimenting me on my bike. It's just some old 90s mountain bike." And we were just like, dude, I mean, it was, come on, give me a break. And that's what we're joking with the what? Oh, what, this old thing? You know what I mean? It's like, if you didn't build that yourself, even if you had somebody else build it, you had to see what you still had to sign your name on that, on that receipt, right? I mean, it was, yeah, $4,000 or $5,000 into a stump jumper, which it was cool. Like we thought it was the coolest bike, but like there was the attitude of like, oh, what, this old 90s mountain bike? Everyone thinks this is cool. It's like, Come on, your brake levers cost more than my last build. Anyways, I've told this story enough. One time she'll end up being watching and be like, "Fuck that Tim, dude." But stand by it. Eddie. So one of the things is, my friends own a bike shop. I don't mind going to the bike shop. I don't pretend to be like somebody who does everything themselves. Like, how many times do I have to rear align a rear derailleur hanger? Hopefully not that many. So yeah, I like to build vintage bikes. My gravel bike with 11-speed Shimano, I don't do a lot of work on myself. I mean, I tune it up myself and stuff like that. I'm going to adjust the brake pads. I'm going to, re-index when the indexing gets out a little bit. But that's a bike I'd rather take to the shop. And it's like my one bike that I always want running right. And yeah, when it comes to building up a vintage mountain bike or a vintage road bike, I love doing that stuff myself. When it comes to the bike that I put, I just looked. I have about 18,000 miles on this bike. This is the bike that I want the pros to mess with. And they're my friends, and I hang out and I bring them beer, and, we give each other shit while they do it. So, Dr. Bob, I have watched that RJ the Bike Guy video on that. And again, I just went on my whole now slightly buzzed thing about I'm not trying to DIY this bike at all. Like I'll pay the pros, or I'll make videos, or I'll take a bunch of photos to get them to do it for me. But yeah. Again, that is something I would try on one of my vintage bikes, and I'm not going to try on this bike. So. All right, Sam. Oh yeah, I need to get out of here too. This is oh, it's after 11. Shit. Yeah. I need to get to bed. I have a lot of editing to do tomorrow. I don't have to get up early. I have a phone call, but whatever. Yeah. I need to wrap it up here. I'm going to read through the rest of the comments before I sign off, but we're going to get out of here pretty quick. Yenzer House said, the trick you found with your wife is a portion of the proceeds go to upgrading hers. You live to see another day. Nice. Kim said you run SRAM chains, Surly drivetrain. Patty said, F, we got to 10 p.m. and no one started cursing. I think I'm the only one who cussed tonight, right? Eddie said, tools, fair enough. You live in a popular place, and yet they sell $13,000 builds. Yeah. And, I have my tools, you know what I mean? I'm not clueless. There are certain things that annoy me, and like learning some of the 11-speed shit annoys me. And I'm just like, let my friends who own a shop do it, This one goes to 11. And go to bed. All right, guys. I didn't throw any pictures up. I told you guys I was doing it, but we did do a whole chain waxing party. I've never waxed a chain. It went, I think, really well, but it's going on the Gunner build, so I haven't ridden it yet. So I did film a whole video on it, so I'm going to talk about the process. I'm trying to decide whether I want to wait till I actually ride it to make a video, but I think I might just put it out there. This is how we did it. Results to be determined. So yeah, that might be the next thing, but might see you Thursday. Let everyone know in the Discord. Thanks as always, everyone, for joining us and tagging along on this journey. YouTube cycling journey. It's fun. It's really fun to nerd out with you guys. And yeah, have a great rest of your weeks.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
this time.
Fitzwater photo.